So what in the world does a small town in modern-day Turkey have to do with the ancient Uyghur people of Central Asia? Well, the answer is this incredible forgotten story, a 700-year-old tale that connects these two worlds in a way you'd probably never guess.
It's a fantastic question, right? Because on the surface, East Turkestan and Central Turkey, they seem like they're worlds apart. But what if I told you there's a link, a really deep, historical bond that's been hiding in plain sight for centuries?
That's right, this isn't something recent. We're about to jump in a time machine and go back 700 years to uncover this hidden chapter that, honestly, kind of redefines the history of Anatolia.
But our story doesn't start in the distant past. Nope, it starts with a modern-day puzzle, a clue that's sitting right there in the middle of Turkey today. Just think about that for a second. A town named Uyghur. How did it get that name? Are the people there connected to the Uyghurs of Central Asia? The fact that this town even exists is our first major clue, and it points us toward a much, much bigger story. So, to get some answers, we've got to rewind the clock, way back. We're talking the 14th century, a time of just massive change and chaos all across Asia.
Okay, so here's the quick setup. It all kicks off in the 1200s. Genghis Khan's empire is expanding like crazy, and he's using highly skilled Uyghur administrators to help run the show. After the empire fractures, a Mongol state called the Ilkhanate takes over Anatolia. But check out this key date, 1335. The Ilkhanate completely collapses, and suddenly there's this huge power vacuum. And that's when a pretty brilliant Uyghur commander decides to step in and fill it.
And this is our guy, Alauddin Eretna. He wasn't just some soldier, he was a top-tier Uyghur general in the Mongol army. And his name, Eretna, is fascinating all by itself. It comes from the Sanskrit word for jewel, which tells you so much about the incredible cultural crossroads these people were living at.
And wow, was he effective? Eretna didn't just grab power, he earned it. He won this major battle at Kurmak that basically kicked the Mongols out of central Anatolia for good. And the local Turkish people, they didn't see him as some foreign invader. They saw him as someone who brought back order and justice. He built a state that was actually known for being stable and fair. So the key takeaway here is this Uyghur-led state was a beacon of peace in a really chaotic time.
Now, you might be asking, how do we really know all this? Well, this isn't just a legend. The Eretnides left behind cold, hard evidence. Evidence you can still see and touch today, literally carved into the stone of central Turkey.
You can literally trace their influence through the mosques, the tombs, the schools they built. These buildings tell a story of this really unique cultural fusion that you don't see anywhere else.
And this quote just says it all. Inside a mosque from this period, you find something you would absolutely not expect: wolf heads. Now, the wolf is a powerful symbol in pre-Islamic Turkic and Central Asian culture. Finding it carved into an Anatolian mosque, that's like a huge flashing sign pointing straight back to its builder's origins. This is where you can really see the difference. Traditional Anatolian art focused on things like geometric patterns and calligraphy. But the Bunyan Mosque, which was built in 1334 by a Uyghur governor, mixes all of that with these ancient Central Asian symbols. It's the perfect visual of two cultures blending together. And it wasn't just a one-off thing. They built their legacy right into the landscape. From the Kushk Megrase, which is the final resting place for Eretna's whole family, to tombs for his commanders and other nobles. For centuries, this physical proof was all there, but the story behind it, that was mostly forgotten. Well, until the modern era.
So for hundreds and hundreds of years, this history was just buried. But then, in the 20th century, the story comes full circle in the most unbelievable way.
Okay, let's fast forward almost 600 years. The year is 1965. The world is a completely different place. But this ancient connection, it's about to be rediscovered.
So in the mid-20th century, a group of Uyghur refugees are forced to flee their homeland. After a really tough journey, their leaders reach out to Turkey for help, and Turkey says yes, accepting almost 2,000 refugees. And get this, where do they decide to settle them? In Kayseri, the exact same city that was once the capital of the ancient Uyghur Eretna state. It's just unbelievable. They had, without even knowing it, come home.
And this sentiment really captures the whole feeling of it. Because of this shared, deep history, the arrival of modern Uyghurs wasn't seen as strangers showing up. It felt more like a family reunion that was centuries in the making. And this was a real community thing. You had local Turkish citizens like this lawyer Nevzat Turkten, who just stepped up big time. They helped the new Uyghur families find homes, get settled, and just navigate their new lives. It really reinforced that feeling of kinship.
So when you put it all together, the ancient sultanate and this modern migration, you realize you're looking at a single, unbroken story that stretches clear across 700 years.
This table just lays it all out so perfectly. In the 14th century, you have the Eretna Sultanate bringing stability and this unique cultural fusion. Then, boom, jump to the 20th century, and a modern migration reestablishes a Uyghur community right in that same heartland. And that brings us to today, where we're rediscovering this incredible 700-year-old bond.
And here's why this is so important to the bigger picture of history. The Eretna state wasn't just some placeholder kingdom. By ending Mongol rule and creating a strong, stable region, they actually set the stage for other Turkish states, including the one that would eventually become the mighty Ottoman Empire, to rise and grow.
And all of this leaves us with a pretty powerful thought. For those Uyghurs who arrived in Kayseri back in 1965, they weren't just finding refuge. They were reconnecting with a piece of their own past, a history literally etched into the stones around them. It really makes you wonder, what does it truly mean to be from somewhere? And kind of place you've never been, still, somehow, be home?